pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. If you can be seated. I'd like to call to order the October 7th, 2024 Town Board meeting. I think everyone was given a copy of the prior minutes. We just need to approve them from September 16th. Need a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Correspondence from the town clerk? Heidi?
I have the 2024 Halloween curfew, September budget modifications, Town of Waywound introductory law to be held on October 3rd, Building Department reports for June, July, and August, email from the Office of the State Controller regarding fiscal stress scores, the school tax bill, which has been paid in full, Hidden Valley Water Company sent a notice stating on October 29th, the mains will be flushed, and a letter from Senator Skoufis, the grant newsletter. Oh, and the Town of Walpole ZBA will hold a public hearing on Monday, October 21st at 7:30, and that is it.
Great, thank you. Board member reports, Jim, you want to start off?
I actually have nothing to report today.
Chris?
The only thing I have is just sharing that Menacing Valley Lions Club is doing the annual holiday craft fair. They did not do it last year, so they are doing it this year. This is the one at Menacing Valley School. The date is December 14th, and they are currently taking in vendors, so if anybody's looking for that, and that's all I have.
Karen?
I've been working with the Presbyterian Church on the trunk or treat, and they are looking to host it in conjunction with us this year. They asked if we could take the lead on organizing it because they're kind of influx of some of their staff in there. So I made up a flyer, kind of similar to the one that's always been used before. They wanted to stick with the same times from 5:30 to 7:30. Marie showed me how to make an online web link to sign up, which I'm fine with because they wanted a paper flyer too, putting my email in there. I just wanted to see if we can get approval to go ahead with that.
I'll make the motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor to have the trunk or treat on October 31st?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
The only thing else I have was Hudson Valley Honor Flight is having their fall mission on Saturday, October 19th. So they'd like to invite the public to come for send-off at 6:30 in the morning or arrival when they come back at 8 p.m. And if you haven't been, it's really a moving day. Something I think everybody should try to attend once at least.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Amanda?
There was a planning board meeting, September 18th. There will be a public hearing in the October meeting for Dillon Excavating. The planning board did receive our, recommendation of publishing their meetings, so recordings and such. They are going to discuss it as a board and will let us know by their next meeting, which will be October 16th. And that is it.
Okay, so I have a few things. Association of Towns, so they sent the notice for the training, which is February 16th through the 19th, same place as last year. But the reason I bring it up so soon is they have an early bird special, so we would save $30 a person if we register before October 31st. So if we know, whoever knows they're going, I think we can sign up. I'll put a copy of this in everybody's box, and that way we can save the money on that.
Do we need to vote on who needs to go?
Do we wanna make a motion to approve the board members from going to the conference?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. The alarm is in process. As everyone knows, the burglar part is up and running and working, and the fire alarm is, like I said, in progress. The budget public hearing, remind everyone, will be 2 weeks from tonight at 7:30. So we did not have a meeting tonight because we didn't need it. The board went through the budget. the overall increase is 2.9%, which is the lowest in a few years. We're looking at, actually the levy per 1,000 is gonna be lower than last year, but I think overall it's a good budget. It's posted online, I think that was important, so if you go to our website, you can print it out right now and take a look at it, and then if you have any questions, you can ask, or you can just show up on the 21st at 7:30 and ask your questions. Rentals, and I think we have to come up with something, and we talked about this, doing something about the rentals of the youth and the senior center. When both are rented at the same time, it causes a lot of issues, and people have now started reserving both at the same time. Spoke to Jason, he said that if this was a private, we wouldn't be allowed to do it because there's not enough parking. And in our code, we have a parking regulation, which we're exempt from. We can basically have an event for 225 people combined for both buildings. So I think, I don't know if we have to vote on it tonight, but if everyone wants to think about it, maybe if somebody rents one building, then the other building is not able to be rented for that day. So you can pick what one you wanna rent, but we're starting to have complaints from people that are renting one building that there's nowhere for their guests to park. And also from people that are on the street that are not happy that there's illegal parking, and I know they park all over the police area. So I think we have to come up with a solution on that. I'm throwing that as my, suggestion, maybe that's what we wanna do, so. Again, we can think about it and go to the next meeting. Scott, we have this, and I've gotten, and I see there's a bunch of people from Hidden Valley here. Someone has set up a racetrack in their front lawn, they're riding motorcycles in Hidden Valley. This has been an ongoing problem. I spoke to Mike, I think there's, a hole in the current town code, right, Mike, is that what, so we have.
For the noise portion
For
of
the
it.
noise part, the neighbors are now taken to sending me videos and pictures, and these guys are getting, and they're young, I mean, they're not adults, but they're getting fully outfitted in.
It's ATV, just for clarification, not motorcycle. I mean, I know
Well,
it's the same.
both.
The
There was-
actual
I
motorcycle.
got pictures of motorcyclists in full gear, and they got jumps, and they're racing each other, and it's driving the neighbors crazy. It's very loud, and it's also throwing considerable amount of dirt onto other people's houses. So do you think there's anything we can do with that?
I'll look into it.
All right, thanks, yeah. Last week, I think I got 3 or 4 videos of the event, so,
I know the village code has a thing about, I was just looking in ours, they have a thing about, machinery, motor vehicles, ATVs in there, so we can take a look. I thought it was in ours, but it's not.
Yeah, almost.
Yeah, it's in the village, Kurt and I were talking about the
Almost.
village
It's
complaint recently.
very-
We were
it's
talking
written
about it at the
very
village board meeting.
Weirdly, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. And then, so we got the park advisory board. I know a bunch of people have asked to be on it. The idea is not for us to be on it, it's for them to just meet on their own and do it themselves. I've asked Carrie to coordinate setting up their first meeting. If anyone wants to go to that meeting, obviously we can't go as a quorum, but can listen in. Similar to what we do with Hidden Valley, I'm kind of help coordinate with them, but Carrie will coordinate the first meeting. And then if anyone wants to go to it, you guys are all more than welcome to stop in, but Carrie will be help them get set up on that. And the last thing, so as everybody knows, Jack Braun passed away a couple weeks ago in a car accident. So, I think a bunch of us were at his funeral, and one of the things that they talked about in the eulogy about his love of the holidays, and he used to set up a Christmas tree on November 1st, and they would decorate their Christmas tree on November 1st. So a couple people have approached me and wanted to know if we would accept a donation of a Christmas tree, evergreen tree, I guess, right? That we could put at the park and that people could dedicate in his name. I spoke to Dean, he said if we got one, his guys would plant it. We could find a spot that's not in the way of any event or anything. So I would just like to see if we can get a motion to approve accepting a donated tree and planting it in the park in his memory and dedicating it.
I'll second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so carried, thank you. That's all I have, reports, highway, Dean?
The truck that we surplused a few weeks ago, I listed it on the auction site along with an upcoming truck. And I actually put a counter, the auction closed Friday night. I put a counter bid up because the money just wasn't there. So we may have to list them again, unless they come up and meet the counter bid, which they hadn't as of today. If they do, at the next meeting, I'll suggest we approve it, but right now, I think we're gonna have to list them again.
Okay.
We have fall trash, starts this Wednesday, it'll go this week till Saturday, and then again next week. We have been, getting a lot of calls from our seniors for pickups, so. It's gonna be, a good busy time, I think.
Supposed to be beautiful weather.
Yeah, that's always a plus.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Okay, thanks. Mike, police?
Good evening. Just a couple of things. I wanted to bring up a couple of potential ordinances for you guys to think about implementing. As you may or may not know, the prisons, what made me think of this one is the prisons are having an issue with drones, unmanned vehicles flying over, dropping, stuff you don't want them to drop. And as it stands right now, without a local ordinance, there's not much that we can do as a police department enforcement-wise, or even containment-wise to conduct an investigation. It's all federal air administration's jurisdiction, technically, when it's in the air. So the deputy chief and I attended a training of how to deal with ordinances, and their number one major thing is implementing an ordinance to give us some teeth in the matter. The ordinance is not to stop recreational use or someone that's not doing anything nefarious. It's really just to give us the ability to enforce when we have serious situations or potential serious situations. I'm not gonna run through all the things, but basically we're looking to maybe a notification process if you're gonna be doing it. If you're within 500 feet of a park, letting us know. It's not an approval process, it's more of a notification process. There would be warnings, we're not looking to make money on this. We're fine with doing warnings. If we have someone that's being a problem, it could lead to fines, it could lead to taking your drone for 3 days, but you get it back. But again, the main intent, because I don't want people to think we're trying to restrict recreational use, is just to give us more teeth in the matter when we detain people and try to get the information to forward to the FAA. So I've been in discussions with Scott, and before we went any further, I didn't know if it was something that you would be okay with us exploring and coming up with some sort of draft for you guys to review. I don't know if you need a motion for that, or if you can just.
I don't specifically mind. I mean, I'd like to see the specifics of it. I mean, as long as we're not limiting recreational drones, just my opinion. I mean, I don't have a problem.
I agree, I think people do use them in the park for recreational purposes, so I don't want to restrict that, but otherwise, I don't.
Like an example is, because these can be dangerous, like,
Right.
and not purposely sometimes, falls. So if we're having a national night out event, and we have a bunch of kids, people in the park, we want to know if someone wants to use a drone, they just gotta let us know. We gotta make sure it's not taking off or landing within 500 feet of us, things of that nature. And again, part of the training was for us to kind of figure out what someone's up to. Like if we see someone in the park and they're not doing it, you can tell they're just out there, we're not gonna even approach them. But if we think something's up, it gives us a little leeway.
Yeah, if you wanna put something together with Scott, we can come back on.
Thank you. And the other potential one would be some like parking, some sort of, I don't know what, I was talking to Scott before the meeting, whether it's giving me some sort of authorization to put in temporary no parking for special, like when the events come up. An example is the football park right now. People are parking along the grass up there, and it becomes an issue. So right now, we're putting barricades with police tape. Some idea was to at least just have signs that say no parking, order police. People see police, they tend to listen a little more.
We went through the code, believe it or not, the town code, we have no parking areas other than the overnight winter parking areas, which it's hard to believe that there's no parking zones in the entire town other than overnight parking.
Yeah.
There is in the village, but not in the town, so I don't know, what would we have to do, Scott, if we wanted to do something like that?
Well, the one thing I have mentioned to Chief is, you know, if you're looking at no parking on town roads, that has to be through local law.
Okay,
But if it's on town property, if it's like within a park, I think you could at least allow for precedent to allow the chief and the police department to establish for crowd control purposes, give them the authority to do that.
and that could just be by resolution?
Yeah. I think that's fine. Within or on town property only, I don't have a problem with it. If you're on a town road, then I think you have to do that through, as you're talking about, local laws with designated areas and no parking.
Okay. What's your guys' thoughts, Jim?
I have no issue with it.
So we want to make a resolution to authorize the chief to designate no parking areas within the town park? Okay, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Anything else?
Okay, lastly, just a heads up, we had remaining funds in the Bulletproof Vest grant, so, just look for, I don't know how, if it comes in check or if it just gets wired. It's $766,070, if you wanna tell Helen.
Yeah, I'll
To
break
look
that
out
down.
for it.
I'm sorry.
I just did put it in today.
7.
76607.
Yeah, I think they wire it to us. All right, great,
That's
thank
it.
you. Brian, Village?
Our boardroom is, I'll say this nicely, finally done. Posted some pictures tonight. So thank you for the use of the senior center for the last 3, possibly 4 months. But it was worth the wait. And in all honesty, that's all I really have. Not much going on this month.
Great.
Yeah, they already have theirs every week. Yeah. I don't want to announce it because theirs comes the following week, so I don't want to confuse people.
So you bring up the DMV van, but we did meet with the county, and I spoke to Dean, and we're gonna put a plug. I guess when they cancel, they explained it's not really because the van's out of service, but their generator's out of service.
They burned one up, yes.
So we're going to install a plug that they can plug into outside the door, and Dean's gonna take care of that, and they'll just plug into it, and hopefully that'll, they said they're actually gonna talk to the village about doing the same.
Ours will be done, hopefully before yours, so you're the last one in the county to have it done. Ours will be done by next Friday.
Dean, get on that.
I guess they burned up a generator.
Yeah.
Not that I'm in a race with the town, but I'm just saying, like, they burned up a generator, and every other municipality, I guess, somehow has a plug-in, which I'm thinking they probably have some sort of welder plug that they can plug into, but we are in the process also of putting one right by the front door so they can pull out front, but yes.
Perfect. All right, old business, so, just Hidden Valley Sewer. So, I spoke to, Dennis sent me an email, so apparently we have to set a public hearing for this Hidden Valley Sewer District budget, which Dennis says is separate, and he sent me the law section that requires a separate hearing on that. And we have to take an ad out, and we also have to notify the residents by mail. So, we need a motion to hold a public hearing on the Hidden Valley Sewer budget. We'll do it the same time as our hearing, so, November 21st, and say 7:35. Oh, I'm sorry, October 21st? Thanks, Gary. At 7:35, does that work?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Things are going well at the plant. I think the back building is now just about fully enclosed, I think, Dean, we're just waiting on some tin.
Yeah, the tin's in, we just gotta get there and pick it up.
Perfect. We were down to, I think, 17,000 gallons last week, which is really pretty low. Remember, we were over 90 earlier this year, so, we've made some considerable progress with that, so that's good news. And then, you know, I've mentioned this to a few people, but one of the benefits of H2O, and I think this is something that we should celebrate a little bit, is yes, they cost us a little bit more than Mike did, but we were hauling sludge out of there every other month religiously, every other month for years. I was able to go back at $3,000 a hit. Since H2O has taken over, we haven't had to remove any sludge. And I spoke to them today, and they're not sure why we were removing so much sludge, but in talking to Jason, he thinks they're just actually processing the plant much more efficiently. So, you know, it more than pays for itself, so things are going well at Hidden Valley. I know Hidden Valley, we're gonna do a meeting for them, just anyone that wants to come to it. I talked to their advisory board, they're working on a date. Mike, did you get a date?
14th.
Will work, that will work for you guys?
That'll work for us.
Okay, so we'll shoot for that, and we can announce that at the next meeting. Bicentennial update, Carrie?
We had a meeting last week, some of us attended the 175th anniversary of Moyanda and the county parade just to get some ideas and vendors and setup, so we're moving forward with getting vendors ready. One thing we kind of wanted the board's thought, if we don't have to decide today, is a time capsule. The village did bury time capsule in 2021, so we weren't really sure if we wanted to do another one in 2025, but they'd be in close proximity. If we do want to do one, they're about 2,500 and up, probably closer to 3,500. And then if we do, where? We kind of initially thought out here under the tree where that wheel is, but then is town hall gonna be here in 50 years? And then we were thinking maybe in the park somewhere, so I wanted to get everybody's thoughts on it, if it was something people wanted to do or not wanna do, so.
All right, we can get back to
Yeah,
Carrie.
we don't have to decide today, but
Yeah, perfect.
to think about.
All right, new business. So, I think everyone's aware of the emails back and forth from everybody on Tally Hole and Pine Grove Road about speeders. I forwarded them to Mike, I know they're enforcing the speed limit out there. I spoke to the county, and, they didn't want anyone to get their hopes up, but the first step in getting the state to lower the speed limit is for us to pass a resolution formally requesting it. So in talking to the county engineer, he said that they base it on the 85th percentile. So if there's no crash data, which I know there is no crash data, they're gonna take whatever the 85th percentile, and I don't know the math behind it of the speed, so if the 85th percentile is 65 or 55, then they're gonna leave the speed limit at 55. The process takes up to 4 years, so my suggestion is we make this resolution tonight and submit the paperwork, unless Dean has any objection. We'll go forward with that. On a same similar tone, the state passed legislation last year for towns over 50,000 can set their own speed limits. The less than 50,000 did not pass. I spoke to Senator Skoufis and asked him if he can see what's going on, and he's not sure why that got not passed, the lower population towns. But I think, not sure what the whole reasoning was, but we might have a better chance of getting our speed limit lowered if we did it ourselves, if that law passes, than waiting. Ryan from the county said of the hundreds of requests, very few ever get lowered by the state. I don't know, Dean, do you know why they don't, other than,
I don't know.
yeah, it's kind, and neither did he, so it's kinda crazy. So I'd like to get a motion, we need to do certified resolutions, so separate resolutions. One, to request the speed limit be lowered on Tally Ho Road. Motion,
Yeah.
I'll make a motion.
second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried, and a resolution to request that the state lower the speed limit on Pine Grove Road.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Oh, that 1 second, Mike, did you see that someone ran a bus stop sign on Tally Hill Road again today?
Yeah, Kurt was telling me.
Yeah, the same place, yeah.
So now they're sending me videos too of the, so. I
Yeah,
don't know, maybe
we're
we
on it.
can, put someone over. The state, or actually the county did send a thing saying really the way to get people to slow down is enforcement, which we
Of
all
course,
know that,
yeah.
but, whatever we can do over there would be great. I need the supervisor's budget modification, so I don't have it, can you read it? Someone, do you have it?
Yes. Increase AA 5010-400, street admin contract, 2245. Decrease of AA 5132-400, contract, garage contract, 2245. Increase AA 7140-400, playground and youth rec, 21698. Decrease AA 7310-400, summer rec, 21698. Increase AA 8745-400, Floor and erosion control, 1,615. Decrease, AA 8745. Flood, 1,000. Decrease, AA 5132-400. Garage contract, 615.
This is just a list of shortages we had in some of these accounts to try to balance them. So I need a motion for that.
I'll make the motion.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Need a motion to accept the Halloween curfew for 2024.
Make that motion.
Second,
A second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Veterans Day this year falls on Monday, the 11th. We were looking to do our,
Should we have read that resolution on curfew?
do we have to read the whole resolution?
Yeah,
Okay. Go ahead.
okay. That anyone under the age of 18 must be off town roads after 9 PM from October 25th, 2024 through November 1st, 2024, unless they are accompanied by a parent or guardian over the age of 21 years of age or older, or if they are coming to or from a work assignment or school activity.
Great, thank you. So the Veterans Day services, we're gonna do them at 10 a.m. on the 11th. Does that work for everyone? Amanda, that's good, you're the liaison
Yes.
for that. Okay, perfect. The floor quotes for the break room, we can only get 2 people to give us quotes, so we got 2 quotes. One is from Bruce's Carpet, $2,949.75. The second one is from Floor Covering International, $3,006 even. So I need a motion to accept the quote from Bruce's for $2,949.75.
Make the motion.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. The surplus equipment, we're gonna, I actually need, maybe Jim can help me, we have a bunch of computer things, and we'll have that for the next meeting. Devon's Gate. So Devon's Gate has approached myself and also Brian from the village. They have a water issue there. Their water is, it's having some issues. So they need to come up with an additional water source. The village, correct me if I'm wrong, has a local law that prohibits selling of water outside the village. So, we met with Devon's Gate, who had 2 proposed solutions. One is for the town to buy the water and create a water district and then sell it to Devon's Gate. And the second was to annex the land, to the village. And then the land would actually be in the village and the village could proceed. There's a pilot. The pilot gives us, the town, all the money. Annexing them wouldn't change that, so the village would have to, or they would have to negotiate a new pilot with the village. But we need to get a sense from the board, really 3 options: do nothing, which I don't think really is an option, because we gotta come up with a solution. B would be, do we wanna get involved in creating another district? Or C would be to annex those 45 units to the village, and then move forward with that. Is there no expense for us under any of them, right? Scott, the people would have to pay for it?
Well, it's their apartments, right? So it's just, there's only one property owner, it's not
Correct.
45, so, I mean, it doesn't matter, but.
Oh, right, 45 in units, one property, oh, yeah, sure.
It's only one property, which makes it a little bit more streamlined, if you will, as opposed to 45 properties.
Okay.
But I don't think it'd be an expense to the town, no.
Okay. So what's your thoughts?
I think it would be more streamlined if the village was willing to annex it to the village instead of creating a separate water district, but I don't know if one really would be more benefit to the residents there or not. I mean, to me, they're just looking for water, I don't know. One would have more benefit to them.
Yeah, I mean, for us, we would collect the same amount of money,
Right.
but we would spend less money because we no longer have to pay for the fire protection. Because the fire would then, well, they'd be in the village, so the fire protection would be with the village, not with us, because they're in our fire protection district. But we would still collect the same amount in the pilot, right? So,
Yeah, it really doesn't affect us either way.
And I think the village has to make a decision to how they would, what they would wanna do, if anything, and then,
We haven't discussed it yet. This is like your choice, you know, obviously for the town to discuss, and the only other thing that I wanna add to what you said, Paul, is we do sell water outside the village to the school district, and also obviously to you guys, to the town, but it falls under that governmental agency, and that's how we're able to do it. Devon's Gate, as you know, the water line runs right down the road to the school, and it also runs halfway down the road, well, down the road to Devon's itself, so there's water there. Their current water situation is they're drinking what looks almost as disgusting as chocolate milk. They're
they
having
brought some to
issues.
show us, so it's
Yes.
legitimate, like, I
Yes.
think we have to do something
Yes.
here.
I
And
think we almost have to wait and see if the village is willing to take them before we, I don't know, like, who would have to decide that first, Scott?
Municipalities' problem when it's privately owned.
Okay, oh,
Isn't it their problem to solve?
It's no one's problem, it's just, I feel.
Well, I think, just in fairness to them, they do not wanna hire someone to start I think they use the word petition process to be annexed if the village and the town are absolutely against it.
Right.
No, my
Could do,
question was, it's a private corporation that owns this property. Why does it become a municipal problem to solve their water issue? Why aren't they required to solve the water issue?
Well, I think they are required, but they are our 45-ish, or however many the exact people, seniors, so I think, from my perspective, I think we have to work to try to help them solve their problem.
I agree, I think this is how they're trying to.
And this
solve
is
it.
how they're
approaching us
trying,
to try to do
right,
As opposed to, like, building a treatment plant, which they never did.
yeah. I mean, yeah, correct, they could dig more, new wells, I guess, and test the new wells and see if that solves their problem, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
that. I don't know what comes first, like, who would have to decide first.
Sidewalk first.
If, like, the village is willing to take them, or if we're willing to, I don't know who would have to.
Well, the mayor just said that he hasn't had any conversations. I don't know if the developer or the owner has reached out to the village to say, hey, if the town's interested, would you consider annexing?
Well, I think it was after our last meeting,
Right.
probably after their last meeting too, so.
So at this point, we wouldn't do anything other than just keep both options in everyone's mind.
And if you wanna just hold the,
Right, that's what.
informally see what your preference is, if anything, at least allows the village to maybe come back and say, we're opposed to this or not opposed to that.
Okay. Jim, you have a preference?
Annex, I don't think we should do another water district.
Chris?
Yeah.
Here?
I think that's because it's more cost effective than the town.
Amanda?
I agree,
I mean, I tend to agree. I mean, I don't wanna say anything bad about Hidden Valley's district, but the idea of taking on another district, like that we would have to monitor or run, just seems to be excessive if we're not gonna lose any money. We're actually gonna, the people in Mount Hope Fire District will pick up a little bit of money.
What is the issue with your water source? Is it private water source,
It's
right?
private water source. They have a well. The well is, it's safe to drink by whatever the standards are, but it's literally black water. I don't know why that's safe to drink, but the contents of it. So that's basically the issue. And I think, like, in talking to Linda and a couple of old timers, like, and Diane would probably know a little bit about this too, there's been a back and forth. Originally, I guess it was their proposal was to be in the village, and the village rejected the annexation back 30 years ago.
no.
It didn't get to that point.
It didn't get to that point. They withdrew, their application to annex because the village was placing more stipulations on the building, planning board stipulations than what the town was. So they just
Okay.
backed away from us.
So there's a bit of a history, so. All right, so, Brian, that's your answer. We would rather do an annexation if that's something you guys are interested in, so.
Thank you.
Gotcha. We need authorization to pay abstracts 37, 38, and 39.
Make that motion.
Second. All in favor? Opposed? So carried. Public participation, you could come on up and just say your name for the record for Heidi. And everyone gets 3 minutes. Chris will be doing the timing. He'll warn you when you get there. So if anyone would like to speak. Bagging.
You are.
How you doing? My name's Steve Walsh. I called the other day to try to rent the youth center,
Mhm.
and I was told I had to come down and talk to the town board.
Okay, what's your proposal?
We wanna do another fundraiser for youth football, for,
Okay.
pro wrestling.
Okay.
So I believe it's in the vein of, what you talked about earlier. She said there's been some issues with large gatherings,
Uh-huh.
but,
How many people would you be expecting?
do all past the last ones, we're usually come in somewhere between 150 and 170. We try to, get as many people as we can, but that's the,
And what's the date?
11/29. No, I'm sorry, the 30th. The 30th is a Saturday, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, because it's
29th
not
Friday.
available the 29th.
Yeah, 29th is
Oh,
Friday,
yeah.
it's I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, the 30th?
The 30th, yes.
And what time? What are your hours?
The event would start at 7 PM. Usually the way the building goes, we get it for the day. This would be our 5th, I believe, is the building. So it's the first time we've had to come do this.
Yeah, so, what's everyone's pleasure?
I guess my question would be, is the senior center rented? That'd be my only question, because it would be enough.
I'd have to check.
Can you look real quick?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I think it would be pretty close to the maximum.
And when
It's
would
a
you-
senior center?
Senior center.
We're looking to rent the
No,
youth
no, I
center.
know, but
Oh,
that
the
we know
outfit,
is
okay.
open.
Yeah.
For our Christmas delivery before, did we? We were just gonna go right, okay.
Mhm.
And it would be $150 to rent it, is that what the cost is?
I think they get, they get one.
When did you do your last?
We
I don't
used
know.
our one this year.
Okay.
They used it,
We
so
did
it'll be
in
on-
January.
It's $150.
I don't know what the rental cost is.
Yeah, we did on this past year.
It has not been rented. This,
Alright. So you wanna make a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
So motion and second to let youth football rent the youth center on 11/30/2024, for $150. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Thank you.
All good?
Appreciate it.
No problem. Anybody else? Public participation? Come on up, Diane.
Just a couple of things. Community Advisory Board, we would normally be, supposed to be meeting this month, but the FCI has training going on. So I did put something out just today. I received notification from them. They want to hold that meeting at the FCI Training Center on Wednesday, November the 6th. So if you could just pencil that in on your calendars.
That's 9 AM?
9:30. And I will put something out about a week before asking who can attend so that we can give them names. Seniors, we have our big trip of the year coming up on Monday. So we will be parked over at the senior center. I met with most of the people who were going yesterday and instructed everybody to park on the side of the building. So if there are groups using the senior center, the front is clear for them to park.
You can let everyone know at the PD.
We'll be leaving 10 o'clock Monday morning and getting back somewhere around dinner time on Thursday. So we'll be out of there before any weekend activities. And when we first brought it up, I don't remember if it was Heidi or Kathleen actually, but somebody checked that there were no other big events going on that would be taking up the parking spaces since it was during the week.
Perfect.
And then our last trip of the year will be, same day as the CAB meeting, so I will be missing it. Wednesday, the 6th of November, and for that we'll be parking here. We have a full bus, it'll be a lot of cars, so,
Where are you going?
Hundred and Hills Playhouse in New Jersey. It's the opening day of their Christmas show. We try to do a Christmas show in November as early as possible, so this was their opening day. And
Gotcha.
there's less of a chance of getting snowed out.
Do you have a date for your holiday party yet? Did that get nailed down?
I do.
You wanna just tell me later? You don't have to announce it.
Yes.
Just so I can
No,
pencil it in.
I can announce it. It's the second Tuesday in December, whatever that
Okay.
Tuesday is.
Gotcha. December 10th. Perfect.
And that will again be over at the trackside in Port Jervis.
Okay.
The only other thing I have is just from my personal knowledge, in all my years of dealing with planning and zoning and stuff, the village doesn't usually have projects large enough that we get into pilots, so I'm a little confused. I understand what the pilot is and the reason that it gets established, but if Devon's Gate property is annexed into the village, then that property would come under a lower tax rate than it does not being in the village. So that wouldn't affect the pilot in any way?
The pilot is written, and Scott can correct me, that if there's a new taxing district that becomes into play, it doesn't affect the pilot. The pilot would remain in effect, so everyone that's in the pilot now, which is just the town, would stay at the current rate.
Okay.
And when we met with the Devon's Gate people, that was their understanding of the pilot as well. So, yeah, so you could, if you can't negotiate something with them, then you really wouldn't be entitled to anything for that building. There's two buildings. One building is, pilot is off,
Okay.
but it is,
Building 2 has the pilot on.
building 2 has the
Quite a few
pilot.
more years.
Yeah,
30 more years.
oh, 30 more years, yeah, 32
Well,
is.
Could you explain what a pilot is for those of us that don't know?
Pilot, it's a payment in lieu of taxes, so a developer, right, Scott, would be able to pay instead of paying the regular tax rate, would be able to pay a fixed amount or maybe a variable amount, depending on how it's written, to the taxing authority. My understanding is other taxing authorities are able to get involved when the thing is signed, for instance, the school district, but for whatever reason, the school district at the time of this pilot opted not to be a part of it, so only the town is written into this pilot.
Thank you.
So, let's assume that the annexation takes place. The pilot on the one building is still in effect for 30 years.
Roughly,
Does that preclude the village from collecting village taxes?
on that building, yes,
No. Could you ask your question again?
yeah.
The building that's under the pilot currently,
Yes.
if that building goes into the village,
Mm-hmm.
if the village does not enter it into a pilot agreement, then they can collect, since it's a separate taxing authority, they have the ability to tax that building.
Okay, so the village would be able to either establish pilots, if they wanted to do that, for both buildings, one or the other, whatever,
Only one is currently under the pilot, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Building 2, the newest one.
or just,
Levy against
Tax.
it. Yep,
okay, but it's not that we would be
You're not
giving up the
prohibited.
taxes.
correct. And that would, quite frankly, I'm not gonna speak for the village, but that would probably be a negotiation discussion as far as consideration of annexation or not. That this is what we're going to be requiring, whether it be a pilot or, acknowledging full tax. So that would be a discussion, I would presume.
Yeah.
But you don't,
Okay.
the village wouldn't lose the ability to collect taxes because there's an existing pilot in
That
another
was my,
jurisdiction.
yes.
It
that
wouldn't
was my
reduce
concern.
our
Correct.
payment,
Correct.
Right, they still owe you whatever they owe you,
which is not very much money, but
Yeah.
yes.
but,
So the building one, is assessment is very low. They pay us on 24 units under $2,000 for the whole building. And I spoke to Dennis, and we spoke about that. We did not fight some certiorari cases on that, and that's why it's so low. So it's not, and that would not change. So you would be taxed, you would get whatever, that assessed value is set.
okay. So all of that, number-wise, is
And how
something
he
the village
described it
board
to
would
me,
have to
they
be
couldn't
looking at.
reassess it because that's spot assessing. Again, you can check with Dennis on that. So you just can't, the village or town can't just reassess one single property
Right,
because we want to,
Right.
right? So. But again, you can follow up with Dennis.
okay. All right, thank you, thank you.
Anybody else? No? All right, thank you. So we need a motion to enter into executive session to discuss get consultation with our attorney.
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. And we shall be.
Hey, Heidi, you do me a favor? Not, you don't have to do this down. Can you just distribute this to everyone from the back? You don't need the last page, I don't think, but you can just give that to all the board members. Yeah.
And the dispensers are also too. Yeah, the new dispensers are here, so the electric cut.
I'll just look out for,
Come on, you're holding me up. Both of you.
Get the stag.
Listen, I haven't been much, but knowing what I know now,
Okay, so, and it's for
Oh, yeah.
Still collection, he's still doing all that.
listen, he did what they.
I joined there when. Which is good.
Yeah.
Too much coming in when he was.
There's still bad blood between the two.
I know that they're gonna do this tonight, and I will, not, we're gonna discuss it outside of here, so I'm not gonna be on meetings, I don't think they're not trying to be. I sitting down with Devin's Gate, sitting down with their attorney,
Believe it, I
positive things, but I don't discuss. So I would put on a,
Building tests for the test.
we don't disapprove, but when it's not
Wayne and I
costing
get along.
anything to do with, we're not.
No, it was with the actual ladies in the old village.
They have key elements
So
already
I
in place, like all the way up to the
after
roof,
that,
right, they own all that.
I was invited back.
I, in my mind, women down there,
Most of the people that I left, so.
they're all classified as certain accounts. We are no longer classified as
It was
certain
more,
accounts for grants.
we just
I think by bringing here
mesh.
48 apartments,
I was doing things that
by
I
bringing,
didn't like about
I think it's 45.
I mean, the others,
President,
somebody figured it out,
That's why I
so.
like
Then when grandma retired,
I
my
honestly think
father.
long-term is and in my
I'm back
mind,
with them, and they're now.
Now, why didn't you go?
we gotta do something.
But still doesn't have no village.
I hate to say that.
For the village. And after they split, I was gonna go back to that department.
No, school for boys.
You wanna go back, I won't go back.
Okay, I said go.
Horseshoe driveway.
Fights and
And then
arguments.
I dropped the paper there at the house, and then I dropped the paper at the house,
We'll see now.
and then I
Some of it was.
Like, they're,
Yeah.
listen, I know they're saying it's a drink, you go down there and have to, I was down there
You
Saturday.
can't.
the other way in the back.
You had
No,
vehicles
I
there.
lived down there a lot.
They can't do
You know, I'm a
it.
little.
Those customers,
And I
I
told
was
them during
driving
the
with
COVID
that
series,
truck.
I'm like, when I would,
We're not really looking
Because I
at
went underneath the truck and kind of
like,
did
oh,
it.
that's what I put last week. And I got from Devin's Gate that came with their.
That's when I started trying to, that's when I got the
So
camera.
they're just getting bombarded, which is good, and you know, something sounds
I mean,
good.
they don't have
I
to.
don't, again, this is all I said in the beginning.
The town water.
I'm not saying
The
very
town water, and the dirt bomb
I think as a village, we can offer
Okay,
them
we'll give
something, and here's what I feel like an offer. And I didn't know
His
anything about it.
basketball, I got over.
I wanted to make sure that the town is always.
Okay, I'm not gonna call, I'm not gonna call the cops, I'm gonna come over at my lawn now, get his basketball.
But to wait,
Yeah, no,
to wait
you
and
can't
look at
believe
Two
that,
dumpsters, so now,
who
so
did
we
it.
have to make sure that it's working. I think when they put water in, we have to force them to put
His
fire.
truck,
That's kind of
my husband's truck,
But they don't have to be there.
we cut, and it was cut with
my
a
job
razor.
was to pick it up.
I, you know, down the road, we could probably
We
do
have
something
our-
here. I'm not disagreeing with you. I don't feel that we should be in there. I agree with
But
you.
we can't prove anything,
I don't know, but how big a deal could be?
no,
I mean, I don't know.
And when
I'm
someone.
not saying. We have a list of pictures.
I have no idea.
This how it works.
Okay.
You got
This works.
county
But
road.
when you have some skills or whatever, you're stuck in
Village
garbage.
Road.
I
The whole town.
You get that truck, that's why you're doing road.
The fire company in town,
County road.
But you
They
don't
go
charge
crazy.
for that.
have no
They
clue.
go crazy.
That sounds crazy.
I think I go back and
So,
I just
you
feel
get
that
all
they,
the,
I know,
when I
we
got
got
out
there, we
there,
had
their
14.
attorney and
Well,
all
no,
he's
13.
there
one
right
of,
now.
when you,
And
when
you
you
don't
don't
know,
go
they
road.
both decided to agree, so I'm like,
He's,
go for what you
he's
want. And I said,
came a lot
I
of
just
good.
didn't
We did a
know.
lot of fundraising.
I don't know how it's gonna go for us. Listen, they gotta make the project down.
We did,
I just
we
think
had
long
hosted
term,
a parade.
Yeah.
I think if
We
they
had
go
a
for it, I
hosted
feel-
auxiliary.
I
to
feel
the
it's
town.
all
Of the couple that you invited.
I do.
That's a big deal.
You know, people, including us.
Yes, well, listen, it needs to make sense. Right.
Today.
Make sure everybody in Diamond taxpayers. I can't tell you how many times I've said that.
We limited it to, because not all the practices have an auxiliary. And not all of the auxiliary were available the night of the genocide.
Didn't even think about the individual.
The 55 people.
Yeah, it's still a good amount to take care of the feed.
We did it at the American Legion, because that's where we were separate.
What I felt bad just for the house and the drive is right there before there.
We have a hall, but it's
So why wouldn't the residents go down there?
I've never seen that come there, or ever heard of it.
we did
So I'm thinking their well is crazy deep. I'm thinking,
sideline, yeah, about the
is there
sideline.
anything so they can probably go, I don't know that would be.
But we don't have a
I
commercial.
did a story today.
We have a residential.
That's a problem.
If I were
We have a residential. If we were to, when they renovated
silo there.
right before COVID,
And then the next day was,
there's a big
and I heard that there was a fire.
they decided to spend it on the firemen upstairs.
No one knows.
Exactly.
No one knows.
Exactly.
I wasn't here for it, so I wouldn't. So the question is
They get anything
I
important?
think that there was gables when that was all farmland.
Industrial, restaurant size, stoves, ovens, refrigerators. There's a kitchen. There's a kitchen up there, a full restaurant.
So how do you, what do they do with that upstairs? Is there a hall right there?
Yeah, we have the fireman's hall.
I just,
Can't, why can't you?
I think it makes sense if we're all in agreement.
That's where
Then I
it's
think it
high.
makes sense, and again, I don't know what.
It has to do with the way that the city, because Greenville was a district, and that's the way it is.
There are certain
You get
things
down
about
to,
it. How can it not? So when we go to, we are doing a longer lowering. Well, guess what, now we have seniors that are part of the village that are like
because,
church.
because they say they put up and down, up and down.
I don't know, listen, I'm just talking about.
Because the chairs are folded to the floor. So there's no room for the table.
That's a good reason. Do you have any idea what they? I'll go to class. It's like.
And if we're to be rented out, it's the stairs or the elevator. It's easier if it's all downstairs.
We have a song, we have a
Our total cost for
And as soon as the waterfront does,
$25.
I can't water my garden because the water.
Because we had to have a caterer.
So he has to help.
Building two go down the side.
Our DJ for the 3 hours. Around $600. Could be just trying to sort of on that.
Yeah, that sounds like, I don't know everything pricing.
Neither of us. And then and then, you know, the decorations, the balloons, you know, centerpieces, and a couple little things there, and do it nice, yeah.
I'm not saying that I want to.
I'll be glad to.
There's everything work, but I feel nice work. I feel like when I was leaving, I'm just every board. I don't know. You said I was down here for work. I go in and I said, yeah, I said, I was down here for when they were replacing the but every, and I was just like, you know, I organize things. Next one, building one. I always, right, so I always say right now, whatever, but listen, I know they fix a lot of stuff,
I mean,
but
we ended up.
They don't come on holidays, then you get by yourself.
We're the company.
I mean, listen, they know everybody. This is the first
Yeah, but I got a party. That's where all this is.
I guess I would. So listen, I don't know. Learn something from experience and they come well. That's not me. We got this far, they got
All right. Need a motion to come out of executive session? Second? All in favor? Opposed, so carried. Board member comments. Jim?
No comments.
No comments, Chris?
No comments.
Carrie?
No comments.
No comments.
Just one, I meant to say this before. I just wanna thank everybody, that helped out with the Braun funeral. The police, helped out, and I know the sheriff's office and state police and the school district and everybody else. It was a tough week for us, but I do thank everybody that pitched in and helped out to make it run as, I guess, as smooth as could be, so. And that is all I have. So I need a motion to adjourn. Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. And I don't know why I'm banging tonight, for some reason. Yeah. Remember he was gonna replace this? You better get him to do it before he leaves. Like Amanda?
And the parking.